Welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson, host of the CHGO White Sox podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And joining us later from the park, Guaranteed Rate Field, as it's called, will be our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. We are being produced today by Stephen Nicholas, Josh Harrison hater. Josh Harrison got his revenge in Game 1, but then Aaron Bummer?
Aaron Bummer.
Aaron Bummer.
95 up top.
Aaron Bummer got his ass. So there you go. Aaron Bummer is now Stephen Nicholas's new favorite player. And Stephen told me before we started this show that we are close to 30,000 subscribers on our CHGO Sports YouTube channel. So if you are hanging out and watching with us, first off, thank you very much. But hit that thumbs up button if you can. We appreciate it. And also hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, because we are approaching $30,000 and it's been $30,000.
I did good too.
I'm thinking about betting. 30,000 subscribers, and that is very fun because not only have the podcast numbers for us been great, it's a great number for our YouTube channel, but we are like one of the only podcasts, I think this and like the Red Stars podcast and maybe the Fire podcast, were just original podcasts.
Yeah,
like all the other ones were purchased. So like we have built a White Sox community, and we really appreciate everyone hanging out with us, whether it's a Game 1 loss or a Game 2 win. Sox win 3-0. Herb Lawrence, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Good to win. Awesome to win. Lucas Giolito on his game. LG returned. But that offense, man. Whew, that offense is a thing. Only 3 hits versus a guy in Bailey Falter that didn't look impressive, didn't look good at all, and still a problem. The offense is still a problem. I'll take the win because they have so few, but notice that there's also things wrong with this team that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're still 7-11, and as you tweeted out, Ed Farmer would say that's not convenient. Mm-hmm. But it's early, and I know everyone hates that, but it is still early. I was ready to bury them after Game 1, and hey, they came out and won the game. That's really all that you can say. The pitching was phenomenal. However, the hitting leaves a lot to be desired. We'll talk a little bit about the doubleheader stats for this team, but really, there was a highlight. There was one offensive highlight this entire doubleheader through all of the at-bats. I think there were 61 at-bats or something like that, and it was Jake Burger hitting the absolute daylights of out of a ball. Jake Burger's first inning home run was hit 118.2 miles per hour. It is the second hardest hit ball by a White Sox in the statcast era. Daniel Palka's 2018 double was hit at 118.4. It's the second hardest hit ball this year in Major League Baseball. Matt Olson's 118.4 hit was the hardest. It's the hardest hit home run by a White Sox in the statcast era, and it is, I think, the 24th home run in the regular season that was clocked in at 118 plus. We had this little quiz earlier, but the leader of that category, again, 24 home runs in the StatCast era have been hit 118 or harder. Giancarlo Stanton has hit 11 of those 24, which is stupid. But yeah, Jake Burger, insane.
Yeah, and we said it a couple days ago when he hit his third home run in 3 days. Like, when Yoan Moncada comes back, Jake Burger has to find some way to get on the field. Like, I don't know about every day because this team isn't set up for Jake Burger to play every day, but his bat is saying, hey, every day, every single day. And I don't know who needs a rest, but somebody will need a rest. If it's a first base stop for him and letting Andrew get a day, if it's playing DH and letting Aloy get a day, playing right field and letting Oscar Colas get a day. The man has to find himself in this lineup because the bat is too good to sit down, especially on this team.
Yeah, that seems like the biggest discussion that we'll have, especially when Vinnie joins us. Where does Jake Burger play? Does Jake Burger playing mean we see more Eloy in right field? We saw that today. Eloy Jimenez started game 2.
He looked great in right field.
Oh,
Man,
he
fielded every single ball that was hit to him.
Unblemished.
0.
Unblemished. No balls hit out to Eloy Jimenez today. And then Adam Purple Hazley came in and subbed in for him. And then Adam Hazley subbed in for Romy. And then Colas subbed in for Hazley, who, again, subbed in for Romy in left field. I do want to go to Chef Seymour real quick. Happy Sean equals happy stream. If I'm not happy, do the streams kind of stink?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
right,
I think
sure.
That's good,
Steve
though.
Byrne in the chat. Everyone's going to be happy in there.
Gotcha.
I appreciate that, but I think, wins make everybody lift up their spirits, and there's more people in the chat usually, more people out here viewing and listening on the podcast. And hello, podcast people. We haven't forgot about you. But, yeah, it's a weight off of all of our shoulders that Lucas Giolito went out and did what he did, because otherwise we'll still be playing baseball because the White Sox weren't scoring off of Bailey Falter. The greatest pitcher ever.
The greatest pitcher ever.
Jake Burger's out here crushing.
And cruising Bailey Falter through 7 innings.
And as I told Steven in the pre-post game show we had after game 1, the White Sox do this, and they've done it a lot of times this year. Score all their runs early in the game in 1 inning, and then just stop scoring runs. I think they did that last week when we faced Lopez. Yep. They did it in game 1. Where they got 4 runs, but unfortunately the Phillies already had 5, so that was academic. And today, in the first inning, 3-run homer of Jake Burger, nothing else. That has to stop. They have to find ways to get more runs throughout the game and put teams away, because that game was not done until the 9th inning.
They have to have better at bats. I mean, period. I mean, we just talked about it. I mean, Bailey Falter just is able to mow through the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning. And we kept seeing that where Lucas is having a dominant day. Lucas is dominating the Phillies. They're not really able to do anything against him. But Bailey Falter, who gets hit, at an unreal, 118 mile per hour, is just cruising, like not even breaking a sweat through the 2nd and 7th innings. I mean, it's so frustrating watching this team where even somehow where they draw 3 walks against Falter, he's still able to cruise through 7. It's frustrating. There's a lot of innings, especially with the pitch clock, where it's like 6 pitches. You look up and the White Sox offense is back on the bench.
Yeah, it's just weird. They have a approach that isn't conducive to scoring more runs, to wearing a pitcher down, to understand what the pitcher's doing to them. And, let's get Bailey Falter. Let's get into that porous Philadelphia bullpen, which in these 2 games, they've shut the White Sox down. They came in with just as bad as the ERA as the White Sox, and they've gotten zeros put up on the board. And luckily for the White Sox, they had zeros put up on the board by their bullpen people, and I know people are mad at Aaron Bummer. Seriously, people, he gave up a hit. A hit.
Well, I did like the way that
calm down.
Our guy Ellie phrased it. Bummer, it wasn't a no-hitter.
Good job.
That's a little bit more, it's not Bummer's fault. I mean, it was lefty, and Brandon Marsh did a nice job of just taking it the other way.
And the other day we're saying, hey, Bummer came in, he did pretty well.
Right.
Just 1 hit.
Yes. I mean,
it was just because it was a no-hitter that was going.
He didn't finish out that inning, but I didn't think that Aaron Bummer looked bad. And hey, the best thing about it, he threw strikes, first pitch strikes, 3 to the 3 batters he faced.
And that's what you got to do. He executed his pitches. Sometimes you got to tip the cap to the other team. They're paid to get hits too, and Mr. Marsh got a hit. That's 1. I'm good with Aaron Bummer's performance today. And I know the bullpen is a punching bag for us, and Aaron Bummer in particular, who hasn't been as good as Aaron Bummer should be. Yes, you can get on him when he gives up runs, but today, come on now. We're just doing the thing where we're just like, all right, we got a punching bag. We have to look at Aaron Bummer, who messed up the no-hitter. Yeah. And a combined no-hitter, we wouldn't have been in here throwing any parties, 0 parties if a combined no-hitter was thrown. Like, we got balloons over here. I'll be like, man, that was good that the White Sox did that. I'm sure glad that Lucas and Aaron and whoever pitched and Raylo pitched, man, enjoy that. That'll be great for you. But no one's like, man, that combined no-hitter on August or April 18th was great.
We mentioned it during the game. Just like, this is the most boring and like least emphatic no-hitter, if it was one, possible. Like, it was just, it was so lackadaisical. I mean, I guess Romy had nice 2 plays, but also it felt like if there was a better fielder, it wouldn't have been as acrobatic or needed to be acrobatic. Like, I don't know. It was good pitching for sure today from the Sox, and good defense. I mean, Romy made those plays, and Andrew Vaughn made some nice plays.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, remember when everyone's like, "Oh, he's too short to make those double play turns that Jose Abreu's so good at making"? Yeah, and he makes one fine today, and they get out of the inning by turning that double play, and he started it, threw it to second, and then came over and finished it at first. So it was a nice play by Andrew Vaughn there defensively. But yeah, I would say if we're going to Lucas, let's just kind of talk out the pitching lines, and then we'll get into Jake Berger and then Aloy and Romy playing left and right field today. Giolito, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, no hits, 7 Ks, no walks. He was fantastic. And the White Sox, also, this is 1 walk. You have 1 walk?
Maybe I got it wrong.
Okay, all good. He had 1 walk. He walked Schwarber.
Yes.
He walked Schwarber in the
You're
first
right.
inning.
I think that Schwarber's like 11th straight game with a walk.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a perfect game if you didn't walk him. So yeah, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, no hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 1 walk the entire game though for the White Sox pitchers. That's what I wanted to bring up. No walks by Graveman, who's been really up and down. 6 strikes on 8 pitches. Bummer, 10 strikes on 11 pitches, and Lopez 14 strikes on 22 pitches. No walks for any of them. I mean, they threw strikes, and I don't know what else you can ask for, or more you can ask for.
That was a perfectly pitched game by the White Sox in that second game of the doubleheader. They executed their pitches to perfection. Those are the players that we're looking for at the beginning of the year. Like Graveman this year, to me, like you said, has been up and down. It's like, which one are we going to get? Today, filthy. Absolutely filthy. Looking unhittable. Bummer struck out Josh Harrison with that 95 up top. And yes, he gave up that 1 hit, but he looked good in his what he was planned on to do in his outing. And then you get the 4-out save from Raylo, which is awesome. His slider, he put JT Realmuto against him, and he threw him a slider. I think it was on 2-2, and then he threw him a 3-2-1, and it was just as filthy. And a great hitter like JT Realmuto was out here flailing. And then to give 100 miles per hour to Trey Turner to wrap it up, mercy. He was facing real people, and he's like, okay, cool, smooth, but I'm Raylo. I don't care what y'all is. I'm Raylo. I'm Sean's Raylo, not Herb's Raylo.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, you guys were disrespecting my
man had a 7 ERA. Man had a 7 ERA, man.
Yeah, hey, now it's 6.23. Like I said, go look at their record when he pitches. It wasn't all perfect. It wasn't all clean, but the stuff was there. And you just saw today that stuff is absolutely disgusting. Right now, the Lopez had 6 swinging strikes. He had 4 called strikes, 10 called strikes and whiffs on 22 pitches. That is just domination from Reynaldo Lopez, your current closer. And hey, that's a guy you can trust. Jimmy Lambert, even though he gave up the homer to Josh Harrison in Game 1, that man was nails. That man was absolutely great in Game 1. So the bullpen today, I really can't say it was bad. Diekman looked good in his inning. He did walk a guy. Gregory Santos, his slider looks fantastic. And Jimmy Lambert, even though he did give up the home run, he did have 3 strikeouts, and his first inning was truly fantastic. And hey, B-Flow saying tonight should help Andrew Vaughn's negative outs above average. It's early, folks. I'm not here bringing you StatCast stats yet. I'm not bringing you Fangraph stats yet. I'm not bringing you rate stats yet because it's early, folks. Andrew Vaughn's just getting comfortable. Hey, before Yasmani Grandal's double and Jake Berger's blast of a shot, Andrew Vaughn had the only hard hit for the White Sox all day. And he's making gold glove plays at first base. You know, it's not like it's almost like Jose Abreu didn't leave, and now he's 25, weird looking from California.
Yeah,
Abreu was a little. I mean, Abreu with the beard. I mean,
Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah, it looked a little Lou Albano. I don't know about weird, but I mean, Lou Albano kind of looked a little weird.
Yeah, and so you're talking, and I know people kind of are mad at Jimmy Lambert. In the first game, I showed a graphic that Jimmy Lambert struck his guy out, but bad umpire CB Buckner is out there, and he's like, I don't call strikes. I'm good. I'm a bum. And you could see the picture right here, like. Number 5, that's a strike. And so they made him throw 3 more pitches. So, and Jake says it, Timothy Lambert, that man is grooed to great. Like, he was good last year. I think he's ascending to be great this year, and he's been really solid as one of the bullpen people that I've looked forward to when he comes in the game. I'm like, Jim's going to give a great effort, because the first inning, it was nothing. In the second inning, he looked great, but then you don't get that call. I guess that's deflating, because then he threw 3 more pitches and gave up that single.
I mean, I don't really care about that call. I mean, hey, there was bad calls in the second game too that helped the White Sox, and I'm not going to bring those up. I mean, umpires make bad calls. If you were looking at the first game, and we'll take an ad break in a second, talk a little bit about Jake Berger and the Aloy playing right field and left field. But Gregory Soto comes in, an inning pitched, no hits, no walks, 2 Ks.
Of course.
Craig Kimbrell, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no walks, 2 Ks. Sir Anthony Dominguez,
Can I do this one?
Huh?
Can I do this case?
Yeah, for sure.
2 Ks.
Oh, no. So 1 inning pitched. How many hits did he give up?
No hits.
Yeah, how many walks did he give up?
None.
Yeah, how many Ks did he have?
2.
How many pitches did he throw?
11.
He threw 8.
Damn.
How many of them were strikes?
6.
8.
Damn.
Threw 8.
Fill up
8
the
strikes.
Fill
on
up
8
the
pitches.
zone.
And Jose Alvarado, who got the save, he pitched 1 inning. How many hits did he give up?
0.
How many walks did he give up?
0.
How many Ks did he have?
2.
2. So
a
all
theme.
4 of their relievers had a line of 1 inning pitched, no hits, no walks, and 2 Ks. That is brutal from the White Sox offense.
But that's a smooth-ass name. Sir Anthony Dominguez?
Sir Anthony Dominguez is a smooth-ass name. But that is brutal from the White Sox offense, where this Phillies bullpen has just been as suspect as the White Sox have been. And you really don't force them to do anything. And that was the same thing even after Bailey Falter comes in. Ortiz comes in, pitches an inning, 6 pitches, 5 strikes, and he was out there fairly damn quickly. 104 pitches today, seen in 8 innings for the White Sox in Game 2. Not in love with the offense, even though they got the win. And I saw someone saying, this is a good win for all 3 phases. But I mean, you take out that first inning, and this is another ugly offensive game for the White Sox. So Game 3 is going to be huge, because hey, you're putting yourself in another spot to win a series. And if you lost this game today, obviously you wouldn't be in this position. You got Clevenger on the bump for the Sox, and then
Taijuan Walker
bump for the Phillies. Yes, Taijuan Walker. So we'll see. Again, they play the games for the reasons. So we'll see if the Sox can win their first series. But let's take a quick break.
I'm gonna be out there. This is my 3rd straight game. I'm gonna see Mike Clevenger. Like, all his starts, I'm gonna see him.
Oh, have they all been wins? Or no.
Pittsburgh, it was a loss. I'm pretty sure. We'll see. It was Friday. I think they lost that game, and I went to the Saturday game and they won that one. But he didn't lose it. And then the last one, I think it was a loss. I don't think he lost it. And then tomorrow's going to be a loss because they haven't won 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
and they haven't won a series. 2 things are going against the White Sox. 2 strikes.
They haven't won 2 games in a row at all. That is just ugly. Hey, Herb, when you're out there tomorrow, make sure that you're taking on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Is it going to be sunny tomorrow?
It is early, and then it's going to start raining at about 2, 3 o'clock.
All right. Well, hey,
according to my phone,
when it's sunny, Shady Rays has you covered. They're an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventure. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back as long because they have your back long after your purchase. So if Herb is up on the 500 level and drops the Shady Rays off the top of the crib,
I can't go and get them because I can't go to the 100 level. White Sox,
right? But they I was just more painting the picture. They shatter from up there. They're not going to ask like, hey, why are you throwing your sunglasses off the side of the?
There's no questions asked. I was like, hey, Shady Rays, send me my Venturas again.
What's
like,
that called?
Cool.
Ramp.
Huh?
Ramp. I was looking for the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramp.
Why'd you toss the sunglasses off the top of the ramp?
I was mad that Clevenger gave up that 3-run home run.
See how far they could fall.
But I'm going to sit in the 100 level tomorrow.
I got no questions asked though. If
Thanks
you
to
don't,
Yumper.
Shout out Yumper. If you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange your pair for a new pair, or return them for a free. What the hell is wrong with me? If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. If I can read it properly, go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try for yourself these shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. It's really tough for me to be like, hey, White Sox, do better at your job, and me not being able to read.
That's small print. I don't know why you don't blow that up.
Because I'm not an old man, Herb.
I know, but there, boom.
You're also far away from me.
Yeah, I am.
Hey, what's Romy Gonzalez's full name?
Roman.
Hey, talk about how guys want a better sex life. Over 50% of men want a better sex life. Did you know that, Herb?
I did not know that. I haven't asked them all.
It's kind of awkward. There's 2 men right now in this room.
There's 3 of them. Sean's like,
Steven's
right there.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry, Steven.
Ooh, Steven.
I'm sorry. So now it's even more awkward. So at least, you know what, is this now 2 out of 3 men want a better sex life? 1 out of 3 men want a better sex life?
Why is it not 100%?
Yeah, me too. I would think that, like, even if you are having good sex, like, better would be better.
Better's always better.
Like, if I had $100, I would not be like, I'm like, oh man, $100 is good. But if somebody's like, hey, you want another $100? I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. I'm good. Double my salary? Yes. Cool.
If you want a better sex life, you're not alone. Roman is here to help. They're the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman offers discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. And with men in low T, getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido. Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing, and if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low testosterone. There's no waiting rooms, no hassle, and it's a straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. I recently went to the doctor, and they had to read my blood pressure 3 different times because the first 2 times I wasn't breathing properly. He's like, damn, your blood pressure came back at 159/90.
Oh, you were
like, you're going to die.
You're in hypertension over there.
Did it back 120/80 when I just breathed correctly.
I just had that too. That's exactly where I'm at. 120/80.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, me and you got the same blood
Herb's
pressure.
so healthy.
Mine was higher by the earlier, but stopped eating food and shit.
If you're old like Beef Loaf, learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals by going to ro.co/CHGO to get 20% off your first entire order. That's ro.co/CHGO.
4 times as long?
4 times.
4 minutes. Excellent.
Oh, boy.
Break me off.
You met my grandma, and she was like, Herb, I love listening to the show, even though I don't know what you guys are talking about. But I feel like...
1 minute, man. She'll know what that means.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. Like,
she's a big-time fan of Missy Elliott.
That's... What?
I was just singing 1 minute, man.
Oh, I don't think she knows that one. Smash that like button like Beef Loaf is saying, too. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Rye Hill Chai Bulls, for putting us on over the Suns game.
Appreciate it. The Suns winning, losing?
The Suns are probably going to lose because I think Scott Foster's reffing the game, and, him and Chris Paul don't get together too tough.
21-19, Clippers have the lead. Let's get into the White Sox offense because Jake Burger is clearly the star of Game 1 and Game 2, but mainly he just shined with his 118.2 mile per hour home run. If we could flash the stats for offense in the doubleheader, they had 61 at bats in these 2 games. They had 44 balls that were put in play. Basically, that's what batted ball events is, or BBE. They had 11 hits on those 44 balls put in play. 3 walks today, so 14 times on base. Those batted balls, or at least the ones that were hits, an average in the hits, so the 11 hits, exit velocity of 86.2, launch angle of 21.2.
That's not bad.
Average feet of 217.8.
That's bad.
The reason why it looks decent is because Jake Burger's 118 mile per hour home run that went 417 feet is included in there. If you take that out, those numbers look hella worse, and I'm not going to do all of the math right there to add that up. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to point out here is this White Sox offense, they got the job done today because they won. But tomorrow, going up against Taijuan Walker, who's a righty, what do we expect? I think a loss.
I mean, they didn't really do anything today. I mean, without the Jake Berger home run, just like you said, when you can't take it away, but that was it. They stopped scoring after that, and I think Taijuan Walker is going to be a little bit taller than Bailey Falter was today. Even though, got to give credit, Bailey Falter did what he had to do. He was stymieing the White Sox out there for, 7+? I don't expect much. I didn't expect much in this game, but I also expected Lucas to get his brains beat out today, which he did the opposite of that. So,
yes, he did.
So in the pregame, I think I said 8-2, the White Sox are going to lose. Steven's like, nah, son. We got LG going to the bump. Man, Steven's all about it. He's like, the strikeouts are going to be there.
Had a feeling. 2 good games in a row for him, too.
Exactly, the Minnesota one.
Everyone was panicking before. He's fine.
Apparently, he just needs to try to hit somebody in the face each start, and he'll be smooth because, he hit the Sean's guy, Farmer, in the face, and I hope he gets healthy soon. And then in this game, I think he hit a lefty. I forgot his name. Was it the catcher Stubbs?
Yeah.
In the arm, almost in the face. And he was rolling the whole game, and fastball, slider, curve, oh, my God, that changeup. The run on the changeup. He was making Kyle Schwarber look silly. Just a top-notch game for him. But the offense needs to do something different than they've done up to this point because that won't sustain, and they cannot bank on their starters going out there giving them 6 innings of no-hit ball, and their bullpen just cleaning that up and giving nothing up too. So they need to find a way where they're drawing more walks. 3 walks in 66 at-bats? That's not great.
No, and when you look at pitches seen per plate appearance, league average 3.92 pitches per plate appearance, basically around 4 pitches per at bat. The White Sox.
Let me guess.
What?
2.5.
No, the lowest is 3.66.
Okay, then they're at 3.66.
3.81. But they are only bested, and it's honestly going to go down. This is before today, and today was not a good day for the stat. But they're at 381. Royals are at 374. Cardinals are at 374. Diamondbacks are at 371. Nationals are at 366. And those aren't that good of teams.
And I wouldn't mind if they were at that and they're crushing the ball. They're seeing it, being it, and the balls are just flying out of the ballpark. But you see that's not happening. So they got to come with a different approach. What they're doing right now, besides Jake Berger, besides Luis Robert, and I can put Gavin Sheets, which I'm surprised we didn't see him the whole game, whole day. And your guy, Andrew Vaughn, even though he hasn't hit a home run yet, these at-bats that he's doing, even though he went 0-4, are pretty good. There's very seldom do I say, man, Andrew Vaughn is not on it today.
Well, but a lot of the times, too, like I felt like the 2 balls, or after his first at-bat, he got jammed inside, and you just saw the classic Andrew Vaughn, like, fuck, screaming and trying to, like, break his bat after he pops out. So
Anthony DeScalfani called in. He's like, fuck off, man. Stop cussing at me.
Stop swearing. Children are watching. And if my children drop anything, I gotta keep turning the hat around. You got to help me out. I put on the wrong hat. I thought it looked good with the purple. It's the other team. It's
fine. Your shoes match, too.
Yeah, that was the shoes thing, too.
Look at you.
I was going to make an Anthony Bass joke about how his kid spilled all that popcorn, and then he was like, well, don't they have a cleaning crew? And it's like, you're a jerk.
I mean, he's supposed to be the cleaning crew for yesterday's game, and he still came in and gave up a run.
Mercy.
Bum.
I do also want to bring up, too, just with the White Sox last year, it was tough for ISO. That's batting average, just minus slugging percentage, or slugging percentage minus batting average. White Sox were at 131, which was 26th best in Major League Baseball so far, and that's not including today. They're at 156, which is around 14th, so they're probably below average, or at least below average today, or after today's game. So I'm just not really inspired watching this offense, and we just have seen, like, if you're not getting a good start from Lucas Giolito and perfection from the bullpen, things are going to go awry. So, like, yeah. There's no hope inspired after this win. It's nice that, hey, you only give up 1 hit, and that was fun to watch. But again, it's not like this is something that's going to be a repeatable formula.
Yeah, planning on a Jake Berger home run each game is foolhardy. It's not going to happen. He's going to go through his own struggles. And when Yoan Moncada comes back, I don't know if the White Sox are feeling like all of us who are watching and listening. They see it, and I'm sure they want to put him in, but also they have people that they've planned in and penciled in to be those starters at first base, DH, and right field. He's probably not going to get much starts over Yoan Moncada, but Yoan does need a blow every once in a while. So I would find a way somehow to get him a at bat, because the rest of the offense, for the most part, is not doing the damn thing. He's already, tied for the team lead in RBIs and tied for the team lead in home runs.
Yeah.
He started in Charlotte. He started the first games in Charlotte and didn't come up here until when? Yoan went on the IL? Or no, it was before that. I forgot who went on the IL. Then he came up. But was it TA? Or no, it was before that, wasn't it?
He was before that. When Eloy went out. When
Eloy went out. So when Eloy went out, he came in. That was like 2 weeks ago. He's got 5 home runs and 10 RBI since then.
He's played in 10 games. He has 26 at-bats, and he is, like you said, tied for the lead in home runs. He is third on the team in RBIs. He has a 962 slugging percentage, and his OPS is a cool 1.328.
That works. That plays.
That's unsustainable.
Yeah, very unsustainable.
If he is that, Jake Berger is winning MVP.
Yes, he's one of the best players of all time.
If he has a slugging percentage of 962, I think he'll win an MVP.
I don't even think Barry Bonds had that high of a slugging percentage, even though I think he had a couple 700s in there. God, those years, man. The man was doing some real steroids.
Fond of those years?
Oh, man. It was good to see. I like balls going into the field. I hate the cheating, but the actual entertainment was great.
For a second, I thought you were talking about Babe Ruth there. So I was like, oh, yeah, her reminiscing about his old times watching Babe Ruth.
And that Babe
how
Ruth,
old
man.
you were.
I was like, George, hit one out again.
George.
Especially against the Cubs. Point where you're going to hit it, kid. He's like, all right, cool.
When old Herman called his shot. Yeah, let's go to Jack's super chat here, and then we'll head over to the kind of discussion of how we play Jake Berger. Jesus. We have one from Husky Bardo, too. Appreciate it from both of you guys. Husky Bardo first. Wasn't a bad day. Twins lose. Let's win the series tomorrow. And Jaxo23 saying Twins and Guardians lost today, which is great. And I was upset when Marsh broke up the no-no. Again, yeah, hey, would have been interesting to at least talk about a no-hitter, but still, I mean, Brandon Marsh's hit doesn't take away from the great performance of the pitching staff today.
Exactly. And Detroit, 5 wins in a row. Swept a doubleheader from the Cleveland Guardians today. Hey, watch out. Break up the Tiger.
We're a real baseball team. We have as many wins as the Detroit Tigers.
We're a game behind the Detroit Tigers, too.
Yeah. That's just violent.
I mean, this is why you say it's early, because that's not going to happen. Let me preface that. I hope it doesn't happen. I would say 95% guarantee it won't happen, that the Tigers will be ahead of the White Sox. But, stranger things have happened. I mean, this team could do the same thing they did today, and Taijuan Walker could throw up some zeros, and we're out there with a 4-0 loss tomorrow. And we're back here and saying, hey, this team sucks.
Yeah. Well, and Shea Fidel also asking why Luis batted first today. Benintendi off in game 2. He's been leading off with Tim out, so we did see Luis lead the game off for the White Sox today.
And he walked, and what happened?
And he walked, and then Jake Berger hit a 3-run homer.
Boom.
And my favorite part of the day was he had a ridiculous hit that it was 108 off the bat, a launch angle of 32 degrees. And in StatCast history, the balls that have been hit at 108 miles per hour with a launch angle of 32 degrees have a batting average of 956, a home run percentage of 92.2, and a double percentage of 3.3. So 95.5% of the time, it is an extra base hit when you hit the ball that hard. And it was somehow a fly out to center field. So Luis Robert probably should have had a home run. Very frustrated that he didn't. But he looked all right at the top of the plate, or the top of the lineup. But we're probably not going to see that tomorrow, as Walker is a righty, and then Benintendi will lead off. But Jake Berger will probably be in the lineup again, because how the hell do you take out 962 slugging out of the lineup? Most ever, or highest ever, was Barry Bonds in 2001 with an 863 slugging percentage. Again, when he hit 73 home runs and walked 177 times because he was Barry Bonds on steroids. But Jake Berger, we saw him play DH today and Eloy Jimenez play right field. We'll obviously be joined by Vinnie a little bit later, but Do you expect that to be the norm? Do you expect that to happen when they play the Rays coming up in the next series? Maybe we don't see that tomorrow. Eloy playing right field again. Maybe we see Berger play third base tomorrow with the doubleheader. Maybe that's what caused this. But do you see that coming in Eloy's future now that we've seen it once?
I guess. I mean, he can point to, he's like, hey, man, I went 1 for 3 today, and I scored that run.
When he hit a ball 88 miles per hour.
Exactly. But I'm just talking about him because he doesn't like to be the designated hitter. And the numbers.
That one was also hit right at the third baseman, too. That was barely even a. We got to, like, really just say it was a hit.
It was a rocket off the bat. That bomb made it.
87.5.
It still doesn't mean it's not a rocket. And then Baum just didn't throw it fast as Eloy showed his wheels and weird wheels. But no, I think Jake Berger will play third tomorrow and then the whole Tampa Bay series, unless he needs a blow because there's an off day in between there. And he's got to be on the field. So either way, I got to see tomorrow, too, the designated hitter has to be Gavin Sheets. That's what I have to see. Gavin Sheets has to be back in this lineup because if you look at his average, he hit his first home run on Sunday. His on base is pretty good. It's a righty on the bump. The fact that he didn't play in game 1 was strange, too. So Jake Berger probably won't be DH because he'll either be manned by the right person that's going to be in DH, either Eloy or Gavin Sheets. And I think that probably Colas will be back in right field.
So Benintendi, I want to talk this through just because I don't know where Gavin Sheets and all these guys are going to play. Benintendi in left field, batting leadoff.
Correct.
Robert batting second, playing center field.
Correct.
Do you think they give him the day off because he played back-to-back doubleheaders? And maybe they try Colas in center field?
I would hope not
in right
because
field?
you have a day off again, but they like to pair that day off with the 2 days off, so you're getting that extra rest. No. Luis Roberts got to play until the wheels fall off. Center field again.
Okay. You think Vaughn plays at first base?
I think Vaughn plays at first base.
You don't think they possibly go maybe Gavin Sheets at first base?
You could put Gavin there.
We'll put Vaughn there because you said Vaughn.
Yeah.
DH, do they go Berger or Eloy?
I would go with Sheets.
Sheets at DH.
Is a DH.
Okay.
Yes.
Batting 4, Grandal catching, right? Because he
didn't pitch. He batted as the DH in the nightcap, but he did not catch.
Berger playing third.
Berger playing third.
And then you had Colas in right.
Yep.
Okay. Sosa at second.
I mean, this is the time where you get Romy Gonzalez in because Sosa played both games. I know Romy only played the nightcap. I think Romy Gonzalez will play second tomorrow. That's what I would do at least.
Okay.
And because Romy hasn't done. I mean,
so you're benching Eloy.
Lenine hasn't done anything. Yeah. Sorry, Eloy. Until you start hitting, what are you gonna do, brother?
Thought he had a rocket today.
He did. 87 miles per hour. Then he did nothing after that. He's been lost at the plate the whole time this year. Not one home run yet.
You also hate Berger, apparently.
I hate
Herb
Berger?
just hates Berger. Enough said. For some reason, you just put him in the lineup, though.
Tom, you just never mind, Tom. Not even gonna dignify that with an answer, Tom. Because sometimes you're just.
I don't think he's listening.
Out there,
guys. I like Mark's comment here. He says, "I like the quick games. 2 hours and 9 minutes today.
That's
for the second game. What was the first game? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
Also pretty quick though.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I know Vinnie loves that. Who doesn't love a quick little game? I mean, that's the one thing though that frustrates me is that the quick games are just are bad for the White Sox because it just plays into, hey, here comes pitches. Like they're not patient enough to draw out walks and make it difficult for the opposing pitcher. Like that's my one thing is I want the White Sox to work at bats more and I want them to damage their pitch. And I feel like that's what Kyle Schwarber does to an elite level. Bryce Harper does to an elite level. You even see, Stott do that a bit. I think Bohm worked counts a decent amount today. I really and even Turner can walk a count as well, or work a count as well.
243.
I think those guys really do a great job of taking pitches and then, really when they go and swing, they hit it hard. 243
was the first game's length.
Oh, okay. So
imagine if we
under 5 hours.
Yeah. Imagine if we actually had just barely under 5 hours for total game times. If we actually had those 7-inning games for doubleheaders, man, This post game would have already been done.
And if this post game was done, we know that Vinny would be cracking a Goose Island beer. We'll be joined by Vinnie Duber in just a second. We do want to let you know, though, by our great beer sponsor, as Herb sips on a 312 CHGO, supported by Goose Island Beer Company. They've been Chicago's beer since 1988. Their beer roster includes the 312 Wheat Ale, the Goose IPA, which is in a nice new green can. They've redesigned all of their cans, so you can go check out the new green design for the Goose IPA. There's the Tropical Beer Hug, and those come in a little variety pack. I think they got 4 flavors of that. You can pick up the sampler. Herb has chugged all of them and gives them a thumbs up for all of them.
Not the tropical one, which is like 10%.
Yeah, 9.9% alcohol. That's dangerously easy to drink, as they say.
I was drinking that yesterday during yesterday's show.
Oh, yeah?
Delicious.
There you
Went
go.
down
At your house on our little remote show. And also the Full Pocket Pills. It's an everyday beer and what the brewers are drinking over at Goose Island. And we also have the draft party coming up on April 27th and April 28th. Check out allchgo.com. Diehards get 20% off. You can join the CHGO Bears crew over at Joe's on Wheat Street for the Bears first round and second and third round for the 2023 NFL draft. So grab...
I think they have like a new deal too, like where you get one of those CHGO Midway shirts, like the old school shirt that looks like the Dicka sweater, CHGO around the chest. If you go and get your tickets at allchgo.com, it's a nice deal for both days.
There you go. Matt Latos is asking if Vinny's lost. No, he's just waiting patiently as I get through this read. Grab an ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in West Town. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. Herb, have you heard about ComEd?
I have.
Oh, you have?
They're an energy company, right?
Oh, yeah. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future. ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. And ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed plan specific to your goals and needs, and these can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. And within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they could start working on immediately. So if you own a business, do not wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz. That's ComEd.com/poweringbiz. All right. And hey, Jonathan Taylor just ordered a Vibes Are Immaculate shirt, so appreciate that. Check out CHGOlocker.com if you do want to check out our brand new shirt. After a White Sox win, the vibes are usually immaculate.
Yeah, it's an awesome shirt. I hope you enjoyed that, Jonathan. And I enjoyed you on Tool Time. It was a great show.
Oh, hey, Jonathan
Taylor Thomas.
Taylor Thomas. Okay.
JTT.
Let's go out to our CHGO beat writer over at Vinnie Duber on Twitter. You can find his work at allchgo.com. And he, even though it was only 5 hours of baseball, still is probably very tired after a double header. Vinnie, how you doing?
I'm good. I've been here 11 hours.
Oh boy, you poor man, and you have to be there tomorrow. So let's hopefully get you out of here, quickly and briefly. Let's talk about what we just were talking about, and just trying to figure out if this is going to be a thing. Eloy Jimenez, even though we have nothing to actually talk about his play in right field because no balls were hit to him, will this be a more normal thing? We see him coming off the IL, and this is his first time this year out in right field. Did Pedro speak on if this is going to be consistent for Eloy?
He did not. He kind of surprised us by putting him out there. We had heard that with Eloy coming off of the IL, it might be a little bit before we saw him in right field just because, he's been DHing. He felt good enough to hit with that hamstring pull, and was he going to feel good enough to play the field? So we didn't really know when it was going to be, utilized Eloy in the outfield, and it was kind of a surprise when we heard in between games today that would be the case for the second game. But the only thing that I can say is look at Jake Berger. Look at what Jake Berger's doing right now. And if you kind of try to put the puzzle pieces together, you can go ahead and play video game all you want, but I don't think Moncada's getting moved off third base. I don't think Vaughn's getting moved off first base. So where's Jake Berger going to play? It's probably going to be DH. does that mean more Eloy in right field? Because listen, Eloy had a bad day the other day at the plate, with the 4 strikeouts. He's been, slow to come back since he came back from the injury. I understand people are kind of frustrated with him, but he's the guy who should be driving this offense when once the weather heats up and everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Just remember what he did in the second half last year. You're not going to want him out of the lineup either. So if Jake Burger keeps doing this, who I guess Oscar Colas becomes the odd man out. I mean, again, it doesn't seem like an ideal way to play things, but you cannot sit Jake Burger the way that he is hitting right now. Now, thankfully, or maybe not thankfully, but the White Sox don't have to make that decision tomorrow. Yoan Moncada is still on the injured list, and we heard from Pedro today. There's really not he's not giving us a timeline yet. The latest we heard was Rick Hahn saying he was hopeful that Yoan would be able to come back during the upcoming road trip, but all we really heard from today, from Grifol today, was he's doing better. So that's not really very specific. Meanwhile, Jake Burger keeps raking.
We were kind of filling out the lineup before this as well and trying to figure out what tomorrow could possibly look like. And we, penciled in Jake Burger at third base. We obviously didn't see Gavin Sheets today. And, you mentioned his great hitting, I think, yesterday, 310 batting average, 429 on base, 414 slugging, just hit his first home run. Surprised not to see him today. We're trying to figure out where all these guys are playing, and Herb is now benching Eloy Jimenez. Do we think that is a possibility?
Not forever.
Or we even thought like maybe Robert sits out tomorrow and they try Colas out in center field, and maybe we see more Eloy in right field. Like I don't know. I mean, were you surprised not to see Gavin? I guess is my first question today.
I mean, not entirely. I think. I mean, no, not entirely. I mean, listen, Gavin Sheets is a bench player right now, and I understand that he's doing well. I pointed out that he's doing well, and I think that he deserves to continue to get run because the bat is working for him. But again, he made this team as a reserve. He didn't make this team as a guy who was supposed to be platooning with Oscar Colas in right field. He didn't make this team as a guy who was going to be taking at bats away from Eloy Jimenez. So you're going to see him get plenty of starts because guys don't like to have guys rust and stuff like that. But, you could have said the exact same thing for Romy Gonzalez, who hasn't started in a real long time. So he gets to start out there tonight in the second game. So I wasn't surprised not to see him. In fact, we talked to Pedro before the game. He was asked about, before the first game, I should say, and he was asked about the whole, how do you approach a doubleheader with the lineups? We're used to kind of seeing that second game of a doubleheader lineup look kind of, different, I'll say, from the first one. And he said, listen, I'm not a guy who thinks everybody has to play on a doubleheader day. I'm going to try to utilize those matchups to make it work out the best for a win. And, obviously that's going to come with some guys getting some rest. There's a reason you didn't see Yasmani Grandal catch 18 innings tonight. But, I think that the two lineups that he put out there showed that he was trying to keep as many of his A guys, so to speak, in there as possible.
And Vinny, your guy, the guy that you named, LG, large game Lucas Giolito, showed up big time today. 6 innings of no-hit ball. We here knew at that 6th inning that he was pretty much done and toast. What did he and Pedro have to say about, firstly, the outing and then the decision not to let him go into the 7th inning?
Yeah, so Pedro basically said, they were too far away from the end of the no-hitter to kind of let him keep going there. Lucas lobbied for a 7th inning, but didn't get it for obvious reasons. It's early in the season. They want to make sure that he's going to be able to do this over and over again, not just once to empty the tank completely. So, just the pitch count was high for where they were in the game. But Pedro said that he's pretty lenient, actually, when it comes to, no hitters and such like this. If it were the 8th inning, it wouldn't have even been a conversation that he wouldn't have gone back out there, he said. So, but obviously Lucas was terrific tonight. Really looked like that Lucas of old. And how many times did Pedro see that Lucas of old pitching against his former team, the Kansas City Royals? And he kept saying over and over tonight, that's the guy I remember. That's the guy I remember. Lucas shared that Pedro and him had a long conversation during spring training where Pedro basically said that to him. Hey, remember when you were facing us with the Royals and how dominant you were, and the thing that we kept hearing tonight was mound presence, that kind of don't show Lucas should show how dominant he's being, kind of thing. There are times when the other team can pick up that he is maybe not having it one day, or that he is, struggling a little bit from pitch to pitch. When he's doing the opposite, like we know that he can do, like he did tonight, he needs to show it. And that's intimidating to the other side. And I think you saw that tonight. Certainly that's what Pedro and Lucas said was a big deal tonight. Lucas said after that start in Pittsburgh, where things didn't really go his way, that he kind of remembered that conversation from the spring. And he's kind of been back to being kind of chest out Lucas like he was a couple of years back. I always remember what Tim Anderson called it after that game in Oakland, that playoff game in Oakland, bully stage, calling, when Lucas looks like that, that's the term that he gave it. Man, you saw it tonight. And if Lucas can remember how to act like that, you could be seeing a very different picture than you saw last year.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, people always are posting that photo of Lucas looking over his glove, just kind of peering at the batter on the mound in Oakland during that start in Game 3. He was incredible that day, and yeah, mound presence was all there for Giolito. So, great stuff right there. Did he talk about just what was working today, or what has worked? Is it just about, hey, I believe in myself on the mound and that's what's working, or is it belief in yourself, health, everything just kind of clicking for Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the above is the answer, right? I mean, this is a guy who's never been short on confidence, but, easy maybe or it's been easy at times for him to slip out of things when the other stuff wasn't lined up, right? And so now, what did we say the other day, Herb, the NBA Live free throw thing? If it's all lined up, it's going through the basket. And I think everything's lined up for him. We talked to Sebi Zavala tonight, and he was asked right off, what was working for Lucas tonight. And he just had one word: everything.
And Vinny, I just want to ask too, like Jake Burger, I know this is the second hardest hit ball in the StatCast era for the White Sox at 118.2. But that man hits the ball hard consistently. Did you guys ask him, like, has he ever hit a ball that hard anywhere else he's played, at the Missouri State maybe?
He wasn't asked about the history there, but he knows what the readings are, and I think he saw he had a double earlier this year that was 116 or something like that. So, yeah, like you said, he's making a habit of this, and I think that's probably the thing that's jumping out to a lot of people. You can get hot, and you can, get some luck, and that can last you a while in this game. You can have a lucky month or a lucky half sometimes. Sean, you like the BABIP number. That can happen over the course of an entire season for some players. But when you're hitting the ball hard, that's usually a good sign that things are going to continue at that way. It's not like he is just picking up seeing eye singles to string a hitting streak together here. He is mashing. And I think that's a really good sign for him, a really good sign for the White Sox, because, hey, power has been in short supply everywhere else in that lineup. So if they can keep getting it from one guy, that's better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we were talking about kind of after Game 1 leading into Game 2 is it just seems like Jake Burger, every single time he is up at the plate, he is giving 100% in every single swing. And I just don't know if that is the case with every single White Sox player, and I don't know if that just has to deal with Jake Burger not making the opening day roster. Again, we're talking about him having a .962 slugging percentage, being tied for the home run lead on this team, being third in RBIs, and he has 26 at-bats. I mean, this is just unheard of. And, like, where are the White Sox if they don't have Jake Burger? I mean, like we talked about this, they probably lose today's game, but like he has just been huge for them in these games. So, we talked a little bit about depth, and thankfully they have this depth piece in Jake Burger because he's been coming up and he's been huge. And what a great story too. Just round 1, 11th pick overall, and then having all of the injuries that have happened to him, and he just works his ass off to get to this spot. And you talk a little bit about the exit velocities. His average exit velocity right now is 94.8, which is just basically a hard hit. So every time he hits the ball, he is hitting it hard. He has, I think now, 3 home runs on fastballs, 2 on breaking balls. So he's doing it on both types of pitches. But this is even something too that he was working on in the offseason. I've saved this for a while, but he tweeted this back out on Jan 9th, 2023. And he was working with a Rapsodo machine over with Blast Baseball down in Texas, I think. Or no, Blast Baseball is Blast Baseball and Rapsodo are the two technologies that he used. But Bledsoe Agency down in Texas is where he did all this work. But he had average bat speed. His max bat speed was around 86 miles per hour, so he just gets the bat through the zone massively. And he had elite average attack angle. We saw earlier Steve kind of talking about how he was out in front of that ball. He had average early connection, which was above average, and then also too his hard hit percent when he was doing this data, 58%. His max exit velocity was 114.3, so he beat that today in the game, and his average exit velocity over the offseason was 93. So far, he's been able to replicate that in major league games, which is just incredible, and it kind of shows the first-round talent and why he was drafted there. And kind of just, again, it was the injuries that have held him back. So he could be a huge part to this Sox lineup. Anything else stand out from the 11 hours of baseball, Vinny? A lot that we can get to. We talked a little bit about Eloy, Jake Berger, Lucas Giolito. The bullpen was fantastic in Game 2, but what else stuck out from the 11 hours?
Well, I'll just throw out one more thing about Berger. People are already obviously looking ahead to when Moncada comes back, and I think the White Sox know that too. It was brought up today in a kind of a roundabout way, the idea of somebody who hasn't played second base before moving over to second base. The example that was given to Pedro was Mike Moustakas, one of his former charges in Kansas City, moving from third to second. And Pedro said, now that the shift is gone, not really helpful in terms of experimenting in that way, that, you could kind of make up for a guy going over to second base who hadn't played it before, because you could play three infielders over there pretty much. And now that you can't do that, it's not, the climate's not really right for it. So as we move forward, and if the Jake Berger where's he going to play story continues to develop, it looks like second base is not going to be an option.
And then the final thing I wanted to bring up, and we could wrap this entire show up, but just Lucas tonight. I always bring up the called strikes and whiffs, and I want to kind of connect this to Lance Lynn. But Lucas tonight, 12 whiffs on 49 swings, and a called strikes plus whiff percentage of 29%. Lance Lynn, 10 whiffs on 50 swings. So 2 less on 1 more swing, but a 29% called strike plus whiff percentage. So you kind of just saw the matchup, though, because Lance Lynn throws 3 different types of fastballs, and that's what the Phillies thrive on. Mm-hmm. We kind of saw a better lineup from the Phillies in Game 1, too, with Real Muto in there instead of Stubbs. But Giolito also was locating and getting those swinging strikes on 2 strike counts, and he was able to finish at bats, finish off hitters, and that's why we saw the 7 Ks. But even then, Lance Lynn, I don't even think we can call him cooked or anything like that. 19 balls in play, an average exit velocity of 83.5. Sounds like he was pitching against the White Sox. And Lucas Giolito, 10 balls in play, average exit velocity of an 89.8. So he got technically hit harder than Lance Lynn, but the stats looked better because, again, he was able to kind of finish off those at-bats. But Lance talked a little bit after Game 1. The White Sox won. I think he kind of talked about, it is early, though, and you can't really get too worried when you lose games like this.
Well, I mean, he said kind of the opposite. He said basically, yeah, right. He said kind of the opposite. Basically, he was saying, yeah, it's early and it's April, but you can't be in this big of a hole. And really, I think that's really, I don't want to say starting to dawn on the White Sox because they know that, but, the reality of the situation is there in front of them. And we heard from a lot of people today saying, yeah, it's early, but, that gap gets too big and that work becomes too hard. The buzzword after the game today, after the second game, was urgency. Pedro Grifol talking about how high the energy was in the dugout, how, Sebi Zavala talking about how him and Lucas said, hey, this starts with us and we got to turn this around kind of thing. So they know what the standings are. They know what their record is, and they know how they've played to this point. And I think they know that there is plenty of time to get this ironed out. This is a marathon, not a sprint by any stretch of the imagination. But it is one that, too far behind, and the job becomes too difficult to overcome. So urgency that word was used a lot tonight, and that's strange for April 18th. I will say that.
far behind. Another Candlebox reference. So I'm glad we kept that up with the post pregame from Game 1 too.
And again, that is in Can't Hardly Wait, which is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vinnie, for joining us from Guaranteed Rate Field. And you can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. His latest piece was about Jake Berger. So if you do want to check that out, go to allchgo.com. And it's fitting today with, again, his 5th home run of the season. We will talk to everybody tomorrow. Vinny, I hope you have a good night. We could say sayonara so you can wrap up your stuff. We'll do all the housekeeping and everything. So we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you follow Vinny on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. Spending 11 hours at the ballpark for you today. So he'll be covering tomorrow's game as well. Taiwan Walker versus Mike Clevenger. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us in the chat, and make sure you give us a thumbs up. We have 49 likes. We would like to get to 50 if possible. And also, too, we're encroaching on 30,000 subscribers. So tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their cousins to tell their friends' mother to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
We appreciate it.
And then also have a 5-star rating for us on your Spotify's, your Apple, whatever you listen to us on the podcast. And give us some feedback on what you think about the show.
Again, we're an original podcast feed. This isn't Cubs related, and they're starting from the ground running. This isn't Nick Moriano and Will DeWitt's. What was that originally called?
Chicago Audible.
And that's this YouTube channel, right?
Yes, it is.
So shout out to the Chicago Audible. But yeah, give us a review too. I think our last review is from August about Vinny needing batteries and a screwdriver, or his drill. You remember that? Kind of.
I do.
Oh, okay. He does remember. Yeah.
I sweat so much that night putting that IKEA desk together.
But yeah, thank you to Vinnie Duber. Thank you to Herb Lawrence. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us in the chat. And thank you to Stephen Nicholas. We'll talk to you tomorrow after the Game 3 of White Sox and Phillies takes place over at Guaranteed Rate Field. Talk to you then. Go Sox.